So many of the things I'm teaching you in this course are things that nobody else teaches, and frankly, things that nobody does. And it baffles me as I think about the things I know about successful Amazon sellers. They plan far ahead, and a part of that planning process is actually understanding their profits. And so in my business, I've got a tool that I use called the Profitability Matrix. We use this tool exclusively. No one is allowed to talk to a manufacturer in our business unless the profitability matrix is filled out. We're going to go through it, and I'm going to drop a copy of it down below so you can download it for yourself, see the examples, and actually use this. Now, a lot of people hop on calls with me, and they want to talk about their product idea. I tell them all the same thing. When they ask for a second call, I say, if you fill out the profitability matrix and send it to me ahead of time, I'll hop on a second call with you for free. I want to see you be successful, and I love talking about this stuff, but I want to deal with serious people. And if you're filling out the profitability matrix, I know you're serious, because this is where you start to actually dig in and look at every single cost associated with your product to see how profitable can you be in optimal circumstances. But we're also establishing, as a part of the profitability matrix, what is our break-even dollars, but also our break-even ACOS. And ACOS, as you know, is our advertising cost of sales. What I'm basically asking here is, how much can I afford to spend on ads per item that I sell to make sure that when I actually sell the item, I get all of my precious capital back? Break-even ACOS is so underrated, so underrated. So my profitability matrix is really designed for me to establish what my break-even ACOS is. So let's hop on over to the computer, and I'm going to show you what it looks like to fill out the profitability matrix. All right, this is the profitability matrix. I have 9 SKUs that are on here. I'm going to breeze through this quickly. You can always watch this again, and I'd like you to go through this. You can pause this video as we're going through and fill this out on your own with the item that you can download down below this video. So I'll go through the categories real quick and explain them, and that's all there is to it. This is your SKU. Column B is your cost of goods sold. What is your manufacturer charging you raw cost for your products? Column C is tariffs, and this is a per unit cost, by the way. Now, do you have tariffs on your product? Are you sourcing from China or some other country that has a tariff associated with it when it comes into the US? If it does, then you want to put that down as a cost on your profitability matrix. Do you have a 3PL? Do you have any warehouse fees associated with this product? We use a lot of 3PLs nationally, and so I know I have in and out fees associated with most of the products that I sell. So I put down the cost of the actual warehouse fees. Now, if I get a box, like you can see here on line 7, it's going to cost me $3 per box that I go in and out of the warehouse. But sometimes that box has 50 units inside of it. And that's why you'll see different amounts here in column D for 15 cents or 30 cents. I'm just breaking down the cost of that box into the number of units that are there because I'm getting a per unit cost for this. Extra freight. Sometimes you go through these issues where there's ocean freight or there's additional cost to get it from the port to your actual warehouse. This is where you take all of those things into account to come up with column F, which is a formula, and all we're doing is adding up all those costs to get your landed costs. Now for column G and column H, this is where you put your pricing in. H is the actual price you're playing with, and then G, we actually have the opportunity to change this price up at the end, so we can go through and see if we can change up the margins we need. So for right now, just fill in column H with the price you think you're going to be able to sell for each unit, and then we'll put the exact same price in column G. Then column I, what does it cost you to ship this item to Amazon? Some of you ship it direct from the manufacturer to Amazon. That's great. I don't do it that way. I bring in full containers of product, then I ship it to Amazon by the pallet. It's just easier for us. I've got national distribution of my 3PLs, so it makes a lot of sense. Whatever your system is, know your cost per unit to send that to Amazon. It's so important that you know it. Then when it gets to Amazon, I like to assume 3 months of storage. So understand what your storage rates are going to be. None of this is rocket science, but it is difficult to go track all this stuff down. So you need to know, based on the cubic footage of what you're sending to Amazon, what is Amazon going to charge you every single month for storage? Or is that your 3PL? What are they going to charge you every single month for storage? I always tell my team to take 3 months of storage expenses, and that helps us to overestimate how long it'll take us to actually sell the item that we've purchased from our manufacturer. Then we get to the fun stuff, our advertising. For right now, you can leave advertising blank because we're going to use that to come up with our break-even analysis. The Amazon fees, these are so simple to find. I've got plenty of videos showing you how to do this, but you can go and find the Amazon fees for any product. For most product categories, it's 15% of the price you're charging for it. Very simple. I like to overestimate, so you can see my formula includes 18% of the actual price. Now your fulfillment fees is the one that is the most difficult that people struggle to find. I'm going to drop a link to a YouTube video that I've already made that shows you how to go and find your fulfillment fees. It's a two-part system. It's very simple to find, but it involves you knowing how big the dimensions are for the product that you're going to sell. Which, by the way, if you don't know the dimensions or approximate dimensions of what you're going to sell on Amazon, you can't estimate the fulfillment fees based on estimated dimensions, estimated weight, you have not done a very good product selection or product validation process. So if you don't know that information, go back to square one. Let's do the planning process right. When you have all of those costs, now you're going to be able to understand how much profit you're making per item. You can steal my formula for this, and when you have that profit, you're going to see two things. This is your Amazon margin. Now the margins all look pretty good right now, and this is our Amazon break-even ACOS. Again, break-even ACOS is what percent of my revenue or what I'm charging for this product can I go and put into ads and break even and get all my precious capital back in. So now we would go back in and look at tools like Jungle Scout or Helium 10 or Smart Scout to figure out what's the average CPC cost gonna be for me on this product. Now, everyone that clicks your product is not gonna buy your product. So what you have to guess at in this process, and it's subjective, is how many clicks is it gonna take you to actually secure a sale? I tell my team between 5 and 10 clicks to get to a sale. So I'll fill it out for this bottom one here. Let's just say your product was gonna be $2 per click. I'm gonna say 10 times that. So we're gonna end up putting in advertising of $20 per item that we actually sell. 10 clicks at $2. Now you can see what happens. We know that our break-even ACOS is 48%, but right now our Amazon margin, if we spend $20 on this product, is going to get us to 37%. Still a very healthy margin for you to have on a product on Amazon after all their fees are taken into account. Here's your rule of thumb though. Your break-even ACOS to move forward with the product should be at least 40%. If you don't have 40% that you can put into advertising to just break even on the product, I don't advise that you move forward with it. So either you need to charge more in order to get to 40%, or go pick a better product that you can use that already has baked into it a 40% break-even ACOS. This is going to protect your capital. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Don't waver off of this. It's a mistake to do. If you don't have room for things to go wrong, that's how you lose money. Now, most people aren't doing this analysis at all, but for those of you who are, you're gonna be tempted to go lower than 40% on a break-even ACOS. Oh, the product is so good. I gotta launch this one. It's the perfect product. I know the numbers aren't right. I promise you, don't do it. Don't do it. You will regret it because there's always gonna be something that goes wrong. But here's what I know. For me and my team, if something goes wrong and we can't sell it for what we wanna sell it for, or there's not enough demand for the product and we have to get rid of it, we have to turn our capital over a little bit faster, I know that I can set my ACOS target with my ad partner equal to 40%, ideally higher, but at 40%, and we can just get rid of the product. Because what does that do? If we're bidding 40%, we can probably win top of search in that category because our competitors are trying to make money. They don't want to bid as much as we are. We just want to break even and get our money back. So at 40%, we win top of search. More eyes see the product, and the more eyes see the product, if you have a decent conversion rate, the more people are going to actually buy that product. Now, pro tip, anytime I'm activating the break-even ACOS strategy, I generally will do two things. Because I'm going to compete for top of search, yes, I'm going to activate at least 40%, but I'm going to do something else after that. I'm going to raise up my price on that product. And by raising the price up, I'm going to allow myself to have more wiggle room for a higher break-even ACO so I can bid even more for that top spot. There's a lot of lazy buyers on Amazon, and people don't take this into consideration. But even though I'm charging more than the competitors are, if I win the top spot, generally speaking, there are people who don't want to scroll down. They'll take the first product that they see. So win top of search, increase your price, bid even higher at a new break-even ACOS, and you'll be able to offload that inventory. The whole point here is to just get your capital back. So if you can offload your inventory of what wasn't working and go to something that actually is working, but still have your precious capital that you invested in the first place. If by putting the thought process in up front, it protects your capital. If you want to get results that most people don't get on Amazon, you've got to do the things that most people don't do. If you want to get the results that most brands don't get, you've got to be willing to do the things that most brands don't do. This is not rocket science. It really isn't. By doing a proper planning phase, which includes both product selection and product validation, you not only pick a problem to solve, but then you protect the capital you put into solving that problem. You give yourself room to be wrong and not lose money in the process. I have never, ever in my life lost money on a product on Amazon. Never. It's never happened. I've launched 800 products on Amazon and I've never lost money on a single one. And the reason that is that I do the things that 99% of Amazon sellers don't do. I do a proper product selection process. I plan ahead. And then I do a proper validation process to make sure that the numbers all make sense. And this is before talking to a manufacturer. Once we've talked to a manufacturer, this work has to already be done. Because now I know if I've done this process, how much am I willing to pay a manufacturer for a product? Because this now enables me to back away from a deal that's bad because I've done all of the work. I know all the costs and I know what I can afford to pay a manufacturer for this product. People get it so twisted. They go to a manufacturer with a product idea and they ask the manufacturer, how much is this going to cost me to get the product? That's backwards. You should already know how much you're willing to pay for that product. Let it be a negotiation, but you know how much you can afford to pay and still have a breakup clause, a backup plan, a break-even ACOS that allows you to still protect your capital if things don't go as planned. And if you can't find it for that price, then you move on to the next product. There's a million different product ideas you can go after. Go after the ones where it makes sense, where you fully planned and you know that you have a breakup clause to protect your precious capital.